Guys, as promised, if you've been listening to Culture Week all week long on the Best Hour of Their Day podcast, today we are taking you through a tour of CrossFit Rife. So go listen to all 3 episodes of Culture Week. We've got talks about how to create it at the gym, how to transcend it through the coaching staff, and then ultimately having it trickle down to your members. We've talked about all the cool things that Fern has at CrossFit Rife. We're going to show you in person. Hopefully, he's here today. Let's find out.
Oh, dude, are you just in the area?
Yeah, just dropping it in. This is so cool.
And you brought your trash with you.
I brought some garbage with me. Yeah.
In true fashion, turd Ferguson over here.
I do want to show you something. We talked about this on the second episode of Culture Week. You got that lock on the outside. That way, if someone doesn't show up to the 5 a.m. class, your coach, that is, any of your members, maybe not any, do you have a morning person that you gave the code to?
I have a couple people that have been here for like 8+ years who have it. Yeah. Who I would trust opening the facility.
Clearly, if they abused it, you would change the code.
Right, yeah. The code is 12345, which is the same combination as Jay's luggage. So, yeah.
And my safe.
Yeah.
But check out this other stuff. I think what's really cool is, hey, you show up, oh man, no one's here. Okay, cool. Email us. Too many boxes don't think that far in advance. Like, they may not know how to email you. They got your website, and also something cool. It's like, oh, I get that there's some cool stuff going on here. So, very cool. Very cool. Look at this. There's so much cool stuff. Doormat. Who would have thought? Fire extinguisher. Who would have thought? All right, so
fire extinguisher, because when we have dumpster fires come in the facility, then they can put those out really quickly.
Tell us about the lobby.
We've rearranged this quite a few times, and I really like this. Lindsay actually helped put this together because I tasked her with that and said, hey, I want you to create a retail space. So we do talk about this. We talked about this in one of the podcast episodes, but one of the things with regard to retail is it needs to be visually appealing. So that aesthetic look has to be really kind of dialed in. Obviously, you have point of sale and stuff like that. But little tiny things. So this is interesting. So if you want to display shirts, this is actually pretty cool. You can buy these foam blocks, and then you see the lighting, we have those displayed. You get these off of restaurant websites. So like cake baking websites will have these, because for a lot of cakes are just made for display, but they're not actually for eating. This is where you can get those foam blocks. You can buy, they're like $3, something like that, super cheap. But yeah, we've constantly adding things, different stuff, like how to download the app, sales, things of that nature.
Well, speaking of, I mean, this is something that's huge. You got a QR code, right? That means Cassidy's not here, you're not here, I can still buy a t-shirt.
Right.
Too many boxes, like, oh, I put a Kill Cliff on a sheet, can you get me? And like, you inevitably forget.
Right.
So this is like, the onus is on you. We'll pay. Check them out if you don't want to pay such crazy high credit card fees. So, did you make this?
No, you can buy stuff like this online. Yeah. So the t-shirt racks you can buy.
Are these towels for sale?
They are beach towels.
Do they say CrossFit Rife on them?
They do say CrossFit Rife.
So that's cool. You got a couple cool shirts. You know, notice not a crazy amount of inventory. That's something box owners do wrong. You have like hundreds and thousands of shirts and you just sit on crappy inventory. You got the supplements, you got a fridge. Fern's always drinking the C4s, right, Katie, on the episode. So he's clearly, digging into his own stash. Keto cookies that have 15 grams of carbs, so I'm not sure how keto they are. But tell me about the lights.
Lindsay bought those too. I think those are from IKEA.
There's a huge IKEA going up, by the way.
No, it's already up. It's fully formed. So all of this stuff is from IKEA. All the cubes were from IKEA, and the lighting is from IKEA as well.
What do you think this area costs the gym?
Less than $1,000.
Less than $1,000. Yeah. Awesome. You got Wadden done. You like these guys?
It's good.
It's good, right?
Some people don't like. Those are good. Like random so and so forgot their grips.
I do agree with that. I don't typically. You guys know that I can do 40 unbroken pull-ups, but I do have bare. I'm still ripped from it, by the way. But anyway, I like those guys. So
the other thing I think you can do is, so we did this a couple years ago. So there's a TV up there, and we just stream like a Chromecast or something to it. So it's just a banner built. It's like Google Slides. Throw it up there, and it has like pertinent information. It's got like somebody walks in, eventually it'll scroll over there and say, hey, just wait, be seated, and somebody will be with you shortly. It's got other information on there too. But that's where you can like schedule changes, anything that's going on in there, and we update that weekly. So we put people's birthdays and stuff up there too.
And also, young Katie, I know you're behind the camera, but if you see something we miss or overlook, probably not going to happen, let us know. This is cool that you chose that. That I like this is truly my favorite color. This blue is my favorite color. Yeah, this is, I don't think it's the actual term, but I always refer to this as Superman blue.
It may be.
I don't think it is, but I love this color. Actually, notice it's the tank top Katie's wearing. Who are these, your members?
They either are or were in the past.
Really cool
she's
stuff.
still here. Gone. They moved.
Right?
Yeah.
So, walking through, do you mind if we peek behind this desk? I know it's a
you're
little messy right now. So, check it out, Katie. Even the best boxes have a little bit of a mess here and there. But
Well, it is Sunday. It's cleaning day.
it's a Sunday. Cassidy's here. He's going to take care of this. Are these all old shirts that you used to have?
What are they?
Or is this what you did before those styrofoam
those
boxes?
are old stuff. We had all them hung, and they were old shirts, like old.
Rogue still hasn't sponsored us.
Yeah, those are all old T-shirts. We may or may not repurpose those, but probably not.
Any smalls in that pile?
There might be, but they're not usable anymore.
Where did this come from?
Oh, wait, you got it, Katie?
Just made that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it says CrossFit Rife.
I made something like that when I was in like 3rd grade too. Office. We haven't talked about any of this.
Everybody's been in the office.
Meet
dude.
Cassidy Balenski, level 1 seminar staff, proud father of 4 dogs, about to give the What is CrossFit lecture. Not going to be as good as mine, but it'll be done. So anything you want to showcase in the office? Cassidy, you got anything?
We got our beautiful mind wall behind you.
Which has not changed, by the way. Every podcast, I've seen the best hour. Where does it say best hour? It says it somewhere on there. Yeah.
Somewhere there.
Yeah. Fire J. What does that mean? But cool stuff. Tell us.
I would like to bring to light the fact that Jay doesn't know what lecture that's referring to. I know Cassidy.
What did I say?
Bring it up. I said, what is CrossFit? And that's not where that lecture comes from. But,
Oh, that's exactly how I started my What is CrossFit
yeah, this is why you're going to be turning in your shirt. Yeah.
I knew what I was talking about. I knew. So, take us through some of this stuff.
We do all of our initial entries, all our initial consults, all our initial sit downs with everybody before they happen in this room. We sit down with people. We talk about why we're doing what we're doing in here. We have the TV hooked up to where we can hook up our laptops or whatever we need for whether we're doing presentations on nutrition or further diving into what we're doing with CrossFit and our ultimate goal of having people here. We have a in-body scanner in the corner as well to where they get their initial snapshot of their health, of where their body fat, water weight, lean mass, all that stuff's at. We can just
Snapshot of their fitness.
their fitness and their health as
You
a
may
whole.
want to learn that before the lecture.
I'm giving CrossFit, I think, so it's all right. We'll just scramble them all together. Just give them a good look of like where they started when they first came in, and then we progress. We track it as they go on, and that's kind of up to them. We had some pretty cool logos made. Same guy who made this logo made actually that front desk for us.
Yeah.
And I think he made some other things. The rig, he helped make that. The pull-up bars, the rope climbs, all that. And there's just a lot of extra equipment in here. But
Yeah.
this is pretty much where he does all his filming at, where we do all of our initial consults at, and some of our weekly meetings are down in here, and that's about it.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say, give us a quick snapshot of all the cool little things. So somebody made that. What's that? It has Fern's name on it.
Oh, that's a gift from the EOD unit that I worked with in Iraq back in 2009. So I started a CrossFit gym out there. And then from that CrossFit gym, 2 other affiliates spawned. So CrossFit Teesside, which is out in the UK, and then Fair Winds CrossFit, which is in Annapolis, Maryland. Both of those guys started there with us when we were in Iraq.
This is gonna be on Fern's gravestone. This quote. But where'd you get this?
I just ordered it online.
That's really cool. Something Cassidy said that I think was really cool that I didn't know, that your coaches can just hook right up to the monitor.
Yeah, so this will just turn into an extension of their computer, so they can have multiple screens here.
So Cassidy, you clearly make an effort to shut down all the porn before having the new members. Hey, that's the best-selling Jimmy shot. Cassidy's so great at closing these spells. The creepy old men. You got the InBody. Who made you that?
My wife got that from somebody made that from us, but she got it as a gift. Yeah, from somebody else. But so it says 2011. That's when we actually changed the name. So, but yeah, we started in 2009.
A sweet office. And it just looks pretty too. I think like little things like that slat wall go a long way. There's also coffee everywhere.
Right.
You got the Keurig cups over there. You got I know there's Keurig cups in the lounge. There's the Nitro. Which way should we go, Fern?
Should go this way. Yep.
All right. It's your crib.
So we have kids' room, showers.
Oh, wait. Let's look at the kids' room. Oh.
Yeah. Go in there. This is where Jay hangs out, so you can't. Just like most children, you can't figure out the gate.
You got the dirty, gross cat. Was this yours, like when you were in college?
No, that was just something. Like we're actually getting rid of that in like 2 weeks, just because the kids have destroyed it over the past 6 months.
I will say, if you're gonna have a couch at your box, get some sort of leather or faux leather like this.
No, don't get faux leather because then that'll happen to it. So get like actual leather.
Get something that wipes off easily. Is my point. Otherwise, you get that stanky couch.
Yeah.
Also, you got red. You got Superman everywhere, or maybe red, white, and blue. I don't know.
This room looks pretty tattered because there's like, I mean, in any given Monday or something like that, or any of the days on the weekend at 9 a.m., there will be like 10 little kids in here, and they just go crazy.
I think it looks pretty good for a nursery. You have this because this is what we use for Madison when she's screaming. We just run the vacuum by her head. Yeah. That's what we do with the kids. Careful, Katie. It's a childproof cake. You want to show us anything in the bathroom? Check out this bathroom.
We do have showers and towels. We've talked about this before. We talked about this in the dropping in episode. If you're gonna have showers, you need to provide towels.
Yeah, it's kind of silly. Good job, Katie. Oh, this is cool too, because I don't want it to show up with like soap, shampoo, etc. And there's also a fan. Yeah. I know, like Fern wants to get through this, but those
soap dispensers, those are automatic, by the way.
So you put your hand under, you mean?
Underneath there, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean the fan is huge because if you're in a box, especially in Virginia, and you shower after you work out, you're not going to stop sweating. If you get out, it's got all that steam in there.
Well, we do run the AC in here.
Yeah, it's much cooler out here. Yeah, who is that? Is that circa 2012 Fern? Was that D1 Fern?
No.
Regional Fern?
That's from
Lululemon.
No, I know, but you were an ambassador.
Yeah.
That's cool. I was an ambassador too, just in case anyone was wondering how I was. This is cool. Are these all your shirts? Not all, obviously. Security demo.
No, I was just collecting those from the games.
Where'd you get the demo team one?
Paul Tremblay came through on that one, bro.
He gave you that?
He gave me that. Yep.
That's
the hardest one to get right there, dude.
This is hard. It smells like
fitness.
Yeah, it smells like fitness.
I'm missing one, and I can't remember what it is.
Well, you don't have 2019 if that's what.
No. I mean, I'm missing a flavor, right?
Media,
so I needed all of
the. I figured that out.
Okay. Yeah, nice try though. There is one or two that I'm missing, and I can't remember what they are. I'll remember it this year when we get there.
That's gonna bug me all day. Samsonite.
Yeah.
All right, restroom. Hey, don't look past this. I talked about it on the podcast. Squatty potty and a bidet. Every bathroom. I mean, this bidet is like $60, and that squatty potty's like $20. Most of you, how many bathrooms are here, Fern?
4.
Most of you have 1 or 2, not 4. Spend the $80 and get that. And I like this. I don't have to do it. Oh, I accidentally did. It's automatic. It's automatic. You don't want to touch something dirty after washing your hands. Is this true?
It is.
So you got a men's changing room?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool too. It's not just like, hey, men go in here. We're gonna go, men. Hey, men there. We got young Katie with us. All right. Cool. This is cool too because if you don't have a changing space and you only have a bathroom, someone's changing when someone needs to poop. Like, go in here, change. You have plenty of space. You got cubbies. This is really cool. And a casting couch, which is great. Who uses this fridge area?
All sorts of stuff. Yeah. A lot of people have like groceries and stuff delivered there, so there's probably eggs and other.
Hey, Fern, do you have a bag of fish around?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Got it.
Remember, gave me that tuna. Fresh caught tuna.
That's dinner, Katie. That's dinner. All right. We come to the magic, if you will. Take us away, Fern. I'm talking too much.
Yeah, for sure. So this has been rearranged many times, and it's going to get a slight rearrangement again by the end of the year. But a couple key things. If you look around the space, you'll see, we'll talk storage here in a minute, but immediately when people come in, Jay was talking about this earlier, the check-in area here. So these tables are custom made, so they have our logo on them. I don't know if you can see that, but they have our logo on them. And then the computers is where people check in. So they'll check in here. Coffee. This is people's old T-shirts that we have stuff to give them out. But again, it's just like somewhere where like people can come in because I think every gym should have a holding area. like a stables, if you will, like where they just, hey, I'm gonna go here until class starts, and then or I might go over on the other side and do mobility, which we'll get to in a minute. But like there should be something where like, hey, wait here until class starts. Otherwise, people start wandering around randomly and they get
It's like the on deck circle.
Right.
Like you don't have to wait in the lobby.
Right.
You're on deck for the next class.
Yeah. So people are typically here, sometimes in the lobby or in the locker rooms, or occasionally just like hanging out on the corner. But like there should be some sort of like kind of corral, if you will, like prior to class.
Let's throw out a couple cool things. First aid AED. I think that's really important for boxes these days. I love this. You show up, you can charge your phone. It also gives people a place to put their phone out of the way. 3 nitro we've spoken about. You said sometimes it's tea or kombucha in there, but really cool. And again, notice the scan code, notice wheel pay, and you got the seating area. There's something else I wanted to show. Oh, that ambassador wall. This is a little peek behind the curtains, but something we help affiliate you clients with. This is vital. These are your Sherpas. You go through the onboarding program, and then after you go to onboarding, you're still very intimidated, very afraid of going to your first class. Well, I see these 7. It's relative to how many members you have. We typically say like 4, maybe 6 on the high end. Fern's got a much bigger, very successful box here. So she's at 7, hey, I'm gonna be at the 5 a.m. It's my first class. I'm super intimidated. Don't worry. Nelly Martinez is gonna be there and she's gonna show you around. So,
Little insight on her. She is our longest standing member. She's been here for more than 10 years.
10 years? How many times has she been ambassador?
Officially, just once.
Yeah, and that's typically what we say. About 6 months, they've seen a handful of people, and if you do this really well, your other members are like, can I be an ambassador soon? So it's really cool. Also, the towels, if you listen to the podcast, I did wash them. I did not fold them. But we bypassed a few things for him.
What?
No, everything. We're bypassing everything. RX Smart Gear, shout out to them. This is the only set of jump ropes I recommend boxes buying. A, because they tend to last longer, but they're also color coded so they don't become a shit show and they get organized again. Katie, you pointed this out. Fern, you want to tell us about it?
So this is the most kind of ergonomic means of storing your bikes. So if these were all turned straight and they were lined up right next to each other, getting them in and out would be a nightmare. But if you notice, like I can get these in and out. Like I can take out that middle one with no issues and then slide it right back in. So you're gonna take these and set them up pretty much like you would parking spaces in a parking garage. If you just turn them at 45, but everyone has a home. This person here was a turd and didn't actually put theirs back. This is like Jay. Jay probably took this bike out and was just like, close enough is good enough.
Katie used that one.
However, if you give everything a home, things tend to go back in their place. Just like all of the plates, they're all color coded, just like that. And this is actually the best means of storing your plates if you want to get the longest lifespan out of them.
Meaning what?
Meaning they will all get equal turnover if you store them this way. If you store them, so if you go back and watch the dropping in episode that we did at Hammer Driven Fitness, and a lot of boxes do this, they'll stand them on those uprights, and what happens is the bottom ones never get used, so the top half of them will get broken twice as fast. So like the 45s on here, you could technically put 4 on there, it'd be a little sketch, but 3 fit on there perfectly, and they'll get the exact amount of turnover, and they'll switch pins, so they get moved around, but you will get immensely longer lifespan if you store them like this. And going back to what we talked about on the podcast the other day, things are off of the floor. You try to keep things off of the floor if at all possible.
And you can use those other racks, but you have to be rotating them, like Fern said. That's true, and because you don't have a ton on there, it's unlikely someone's not going to use 3 or 4 45s even.
It's impossible. It's impossible because if you're going to do 225, you would need to use this whole pin and then grab one off of there. And the other thing I think every gym should have, as long as you can fit them on, is these adjustable pull-up bars. This is one of the best purchases. Rogue makes these. One of the best purchases I ever made.
Say functional fitness movement supplier until Rogue sponsors us.
Until they sponsor us. So, because you can use these for jumping pull-ups, you can use them for jumping muscle-ups, you can use them for
short stature division.
Short stature division. You can use them for straight bar rows. They have so much utility. But the biggest thing that makes those so beneficial is you don't have to get people up on a box and introduce a safety issue
really
with
true.
their.
And notice how clean it is. They're all at the exact same height.
Right.
Like that's not an accident, people. Cool other things. Chains probably don't get used a ton. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's very fun to have and throw out there.
Phil on the weightlifting side has been playing around with them a lot, so they're getting used a little bit more. But again, everything, figure out a way to store things cleanly is the point.
These are great for scaling rope climbs. We've
Yep.
talked about this before. Did you make these or did you buy these ones?
No, Rogue sells these. These are I believe
Functional
it's a
fitness movement
yes,
supplier.
functional fitness movement supplier. This is I think this is the 6 foot variation.
Yeah, and it's important that it doesn't touch the ground because that's how people break their ankle. But
Well, they don't need to. So like I would just need it to be essentially 1 arm's length away from the floor, so I can lower myself to the floor and do rope subs and then come back up.
Very cool. Let's continue to walk around. Again, we've been here for 2 days, but we haven't looked at it with this eagle eye, so I'm just trying to throw stuff out. I love the stall mats. I've never actually seen interlocking stall mats.
They're a little bit more expensive, but yeah.
That's probably why I haven't seen them. Send me your cheapest stall mats. Landmine, pretty cool. What do you, obviously for some sort of Russian twist, but anything else you use it
Oh,
for?
you can use them for a lot of overhead work, stuff like that. People who struggle for full range of motion, landmine presses are a great substitute for people who struggle at that kind of like end ranges for mobility.
And we talked about that on the show, right? Don't buy things unless you can program it for your class, but something like this is helping that you're not gonna probably have multiple people in every class that need shoulder subs, or you're doing something wrong and hurting people, but having one of everything to scale is really valuable. Rowers off the floor, we don't need to dig into this other than you did that yourself.
Correct.
So you don't have to buy the Rogue stores. Those are like $2 each at Home Depot, right?
Yeah.
So easy thing. You got some sleds back here. The parallettes are off the wall. You've got the same thing going on with the I mean, look how many bikes there are. 4, 8,
It's 13 total.
13 bikes. They all have their spot. Parallettes. The timer's hooked to the iPad over on the other side of the room. But that iPad actually controls all the timers, right?
Well, you can run them together, or so I think it's Gym Next. Yeah, it's up there. Gym Next. So they're Wi-Fi enabled. So this is we smashed enough remotes where I was like, enough is enough. So we got rid of them, and I got these from CrossFit downtown Atlanta because he uses them there. We do seminars a lot. He's also an affiliate of you, but the
Mike, shout out to Mike.
yeah, shout out to Mike. But we use those so I can run those clocks separately, or I can run them together, and they have any timing design you want on them.
That's awesome. Yeah, so many remotes get smashed. I think this is super important. People buy rings and leave them on the rig. This is like we talked about on the show. You use these every 10 days? Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, people scale pull-ups, of course. Go grab a set of rings. But if you just leave them on the rig permanently, they look like a mess. They become a mess, and you don't use them often enough to keep them out. More sleds over there.
No, those are actually
Pulling things.
So you basically put those on and they go on, so that they go with pulling blocks. You put those in place.
Oh, very cool. So, I don't know what you just said, but that sounds cool. You said you have 2 GHDs, right?
Yeah, there's only one.
So we got GHD over there. Again, super valuable, but like we said, maybe you don't program it to your class, but you want to have them. A ton of ski ergs. Katie and I actually use the ski ergs in our workout today. That fan is powerful, big ass fan. I like it too. You can buy the big one that rolls around, but that one stays off the floor. Ski ergs, high rings that are out of the way, but that way you don't have to worry about it when you do muscle ups. More rowers on the wall. What do you use the matting for?
Handstand push-ups, sit-ups, other stuff like that.
Out of the way, bands, belts. Do you have one setup of crossover symmetry, or is there more?
No, there's more other inside the other side too.
But it's still good to have it out here for people to use it, because you probably use it for scaling too at times.
Sometimes.
Anything else in the area? I love how clean the ropes are.
Not the ceiling, the ropes.
The ceiling you talked about on the show, you're going to paint that. And also, if we give you any ideas during this tour, please let us know. Feel free to tag us. If you say, oh, that was a great idea I caught from CrossFit Rife, tag us, email us, let us know what stuff you like. What else you got for us?
Storage of the little things. Come over here, Katie. Storage of the little things is super important. So these are things that typically get shoved in a box or a corner. So some of this stuff you can buy from Rogue, but some of it I had people make, right? So if you come over here to this corner, all the ab mats. So I had a guy make all of these. So all the ab mats are stored in here, and he cut our logo in there too. But that's mounted on the wall. All the foam rollers mounted on the wall. Don't buy the 30-inch foam rollers. Buy the short ones. You can have twice as many in the same amount of space when you do that. Because if you do it the other way, you only have 9. But now I have 18 in here is when that's set up. Matadors. So for dips, not everybody can do ring dips. So we have 5 of these, and we regularly use all 5 of them. Storage of things like collars. You can buy all this stuff on Rogue. So that way they're not just thrown in a bucket. The collars are gonna break, but you can store them very, very cleanly that way.
Also, with your dips, again, this is handmade.
Right.
So because sometimes the storage piece, like those Rogue storage for those.
No, you can just buy these from like Home Depot.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks great. Rogue obviously does a great job, but it's significantly more expensive.
The benches are hung up over there too. So like you can use that hanging device for benches and rowers. So it's the same mount.
So why'd you go with those for the benches but not for the rowers?
Because I bought those later. I had already mounted all of those, and then I just bought those.
Yeah, it gets to be a point in your box ownership where you can afford it.
Well,
right?
there's just way less measuring for that. So when you have multiple people, like it gets to be, you have to do, it gets a little weird, but.
Cool stuff with the wall balls. How do you access the ones behind it?
You typically don't have to get up to the top, but this is bolted to the floor, so if I did need to get up there, I would just pull that out.
And then if anything else, you just reach
Yeah,
through.
just reach in the back. Yeah, so there's 50, well, there's not right now, but because I still have a couple that are checked out, but that holds 50 wall balls. So.
And we found the boxes. Talked about this on the podcast, but I love the soft boxes. Like you said, you still have a couple wooden sandbags that you can use during class. Also, you can sit on them.
Yeah. And admittedly, a lot of the stuff in the gym looks like shit right now because this is typically what it looks like by Sunday, by the end of the week. But we clean everything. Everything will get tucked back into its place, and then we have to reset everything every single week when he comes back.
We also weren't planning on doing this,
Yeah.
so it's still
this
really
stuff,
clean.
For anybody who's like, it's dirty, I'm like, yes, it's dirty, and it's giving me anxiety. But this is always rectified. And it typically gets done a couple times, but like Saturdays is usually packed in here. So typically by Saturday afternoon, the gym looks like a hot mess. And this is why we do like a deep cleaning. Essentially every Sunday we do a deep cleaning at the gym.
Why don't you have 9-foot targets?
Equality.
Do you make women go to 10 feet?
Yeah.
For real?
Just use a lighter wall ball.
Because Katie was struggling.
Just use a lighter wall ball.
She used a 14 pounder, but let me tell you, there's some
No,
So
realistically, we didn't do those just because like when we bought those, we didn't set them up that way. We do have people throw to a lower target on the walls, but for these, if you've never shot a wall ball to a wall ball target, it is significantly more difficult.
So much worse. And really, like you said, there's nothing wrong with going at 10 feet. I also assume those were probably out, and you probably bought them before the double target came out.
For sure. Yeah. Those are several years old.
Come on over here. I love this, even though it's not being used.
We're getting rid of it.
You're getting rid of it?
Yep.
I think this is a good idea. I mean, because of the QR code, is that why you're getting rid of them?
No,
But I tell people, like, if you can do this, because you can throw all of your stuff in there, even T-shirts fit in this, but you can have sample protein, you can have jump ropes, you can have the keto cookies, you can put gift cards in there. I mean, having the vending machine that allows you to use anything, and with this credit card swiper, I like it. But why are you getting rid of it?
We're getting rid of it because the fees associated with it once you move to something like, so for 2 reasons. Number one, security on point of sale, obviously, and then people have to pay to get things. Now, I don't need that anymore, so if you move to something like Wheel Pay where I can avoid merchant fees. So on this one, you're gonna get dinged with a merchant fee and a singular transaction fee off of the system, so it ends up sucking up a lot of your margin. So we're just gonna sell it. But it was good for years. I mean, we would do anywhere between $300 to $1,000 of small items in there every single month. But then when you look at like what's my return on it, it could be way better for, you know, the $3.50 items and stuff like that.
Well, that and we'll pay
Takes care of all
solves
of
that
it.
for a lot of people. All right. We don't have to go crazy in here, but it's your weightlifting area.
Yeah, so we have, so East Coast Gold is one of the winningest weightlifting teams in the country. So with regard to men's and women's national championships, their headquarters is here. We are going to have Phil on the podcast, but this is theirs. So this is just weightlifting. We don't do any CrossFit in here. This is solely dedicated to the weightlifters. And if you kind of come over here, Katie, so we have 18 platforms in here. And then on this back wall over here is where we have all of the jerk blocks, the belt squat machine. So 1, 2, 3, yeah. So we used to have 4 sets of jerk blocks here, but now we got rid of one of them because we wanted to have the belt squat machine. And then all the squat racks are over there in the corner. And then the plates and kettlebells and dumbbells are all stored in here. And we're getting ready to revamp these and buy all new dumbbell storage racks for these two, so that it's a little bit easier to get them in and out.
This is honestly the only thing that doesn't fit at your box.
You mean
Meaning
with
from an organizational
yeah,
perspective.
Yeah, it is still a little bit messy. It's way better than it used to be when we started numbering them like that. But that is that will be done before the end of the year. So we'll buy, you know, the big, like where the wall balls are.
Yeah.
We'll have that, but that will be for dumbbells.
And the dumbbell racks usually have like a slight slant to it,
Yeah.
make it easier to not catch a finger in there.
In here.
So this is the kids area?
No, so we use this for CrossFit Kids classes, but this room is what we would describe as like, this is an overflow room. So this room for warming up, if people want to get a bro session or something like that, or they want to get extra cardio or anything like that, this room is open for use if we're not doing kids classes. The other thing we use this room for a lot is our new member onboarding or private training sessions, because I can close this room off and I can actually make it a private room.
Speaking about closing it off, check this out. I didn't notice this yesterday. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we made this, it's a barn door, so you can just close this. So when we have the kids in here, we'll just close this. Or if I've got somebody in here and there's a bunch of stuff going on, we'll just close it off.
So I got a couple questions going on in here. You got the foldable racks.
Yep.
Why'd you go that direction? Because I'm assuming you rarely fold them.
We do rarely fold them. However, so we used to have a full length wall rig in here, just like we had out there. We got rid of it because it would come out a lot farther. So it would come out like an additional 2 feet. And when you have kids and you want to maximize space, the additional 2 feet matters. So we do not fold them that often, but when we do, the amount of space that you get back is immense. So if we're running like a seminar, so when we do seminars here, this is the classroom. So I'll have all the chairs on here. We'll do the whiteboard over there. So we'll have a dedicated classroom. But again, notice that like trying to keep things off of the wall, or excuse me, off of the floor. All the plates are mounted to the wall. Everything, those fold right up flush to the wall. And then foam rollers, competition plates, all the benches are mounted to the wall. And then on the other side, we have more GHD weight vests. And then we have all the runners over on this side too.
Why are the comp plates in here?
Because we don't actually use those, with the exception of for weightlifting needs.
So those are like the actual legit.
Those are certified IWF competition plates.
And you mentioned earlier, go with the shorter foam roller.
Yeah.
Were these just an earlier purchase and you
Yeah,
wanted
they
to
were
listen?
earlier purchased, so we just repurposed them.
Do you have a pogo stick? Oh, here it is. It's stuck. It's like the sword in the stone.
Yeah.
It's the pogo
Yeah.
stick in the wall. Only men can pull it out. A couple other questions. You got the chairs in there, which I think is great because CrossFit Rife runs seminars. No sense in getting the expense of renting them over and over.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of times I've paid for those chairs over and over and over and over is, but I didn't want to have them stuck in a closet somewhere, so we just literally mounted them up there on the wall.
The most expensive thing in this box, you got 5 freaking assault runners.
We do.
Now, answer me this. You live in Virginia. You can probably run most of the year. What was the reason you did that?
So we could, there's a couple different things in there. If you want to coach somebody on running technique, that's ideal.
No one coaches people on running technique.
Right. Number two, yes, we can run most of the time. So this is what drives me insane. I'm talking to you guys, but all I'm thinking about is those dumbbells over there in the corner.
Who left the damn 25s out?
Dumbbells.
They were
But anyway, no, you can run most of the year here. However, if it's pouring rain outside, if you really want to keep an eye on somebody who might be new or has an injury or something like this, get back into it. Or if it's just really fucking cold outside, people don't want to go running in 15-degree weather, which is not weird here.
But answer this. You got 5. You can't use it in class.
Yes, you could use it in class. Somebody will always opt to run outside.
So you think you have a class of, your classes are huge. You have 20. Would you change the workout if it's snowing out?
Yeah. I mean, you need to have an inclement weather
but you
plan.
But you now still have the option of running.
Right. So that way, hey, who wants to still run? And then you have the diehards who still want to run, and you can put them on the air runner. I'm trying to figure out how much memory you have on that phone.
Katie's got a ton of clouds.
But it's cool, right? It's cool to have that because for a lot of reasons. So you never have to rule out running if you have air runners. Now, it's definitely like the last purchase you should ever make. Like it's not necessary.
Because those are what, 5,000?
No, I think they're like 35. I think they're like 35.
Still, you're talking nearly 20 grand in equipment.
So, and then that's it.
Well, when you use these light,
those are for the kids.
they use these?
Yeah, so Rogue makes these as well. So it's a 5 kilogram plate, but they can use these for meets as well, but for training purposes, so they can still load it and have it on the floor as well.
And they
so
look
2.5 and 5.
Do those glow in the dark?
No.
Don't they look like they might glow in the dark?
They might though. We should turn the lights off.
You got, if you weightlifting after hours, you got hula hoops, the agility ladder. I think the agility ladder is pretty awesome. Which way do you want to take us to the next room? Which is
we'll go to the lounge. Yeah, we'll go to the lounge.
Censored lights. If you watch the podcast, you'll notice very often Fern's lights go off in the office, but I think it's valuable because your coaches will inevitably leave the lights on.
So every light in the facility is motion censored. Every single one of them.
Smart.
So all of the thermostats are Wi-Fi enabled, and then every single one of the lights in the facility is motion censored. And people are like, what if it turns off in the middle of the day? Well, then there's nobody in there and the lights don't need to be on.
Yeah,
so
just do this.
So, like when we walk in here and
Look at that. This is the coolest area. This is where I would spend the most time because I don't like to work out, but I like to lay down. Tell us about
I'll call myself out, and these are actually getting run. But like again, going back to that fake leather, like that's what happens when people spend a lot of time.
Katie, slow-mo this.
Don't slow-mo it, just leave it exactly like that. No, but this is something, this was always like something that I always wanted in the facility, was just like a genuine like hangout room. And that's why we made this. So this took like 2 weeks, all this pallet wall, like we did this ourselves. We literally cut and nailed pallets to the wall, and we spent several weeks doing that. With rooms like this is where I think you can do so I think like sports bars and stuff like that, like memorabilia on the wall is what gives like a vibe, right?
It's so cool. I mean,
like all the seminar staff shirts, different things that mean a lot to our gym. So like Marston was a member at our gym. We give away the Susan Davis Award every single year. She was a member at our gym for like 7.5 years. This is a gift from one of our members. Got the games plate over here.
Check out the gameplay. Those people don't realize we get coins every year.
Yeah, so these are all the coins, and then I've got a couple that are not mounted in there. And then on the other side over here,
well, you bypassed a couple cool things.
Oh yeah,
the boots. I used these at the house this morning. Very cool.
I'm shocked that you brought them back. Actually,
I actually put them in front of the door this morning because I was like, I can't forget these because I won't be back here.
Yeah.
The cryo booth that we've talked about. Did somebody make this?
Yep.
Oh, it's just metal on the wall.
Yep.
And I think it's important to know, like, the vibe here also is very one of, like, patriotism, which makes sense considering Firm is in the military, his wife is still active duty. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with supporting America, right? So, pretty cool with that. Like I said, there's coffee everywhere. Are people allowed to just come in and literally grab a Keurig?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right? I mean, they're not expensive, but they're not free either, right? You're going out and buying those. Can we open this?
I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, not too bad.
You want to see this? These were wedding gifts.
That's cool. Somebody made those for you?
Somebody made these for me.
That's when you know you've created a cool vibe. Somebody makes you shit like that for your wedding.
They're actually too heavy for you to use. Watch.
Oh my God. I get so strong eating. So, you got.
They're 1 kilogram. This is when you know you're truly dedicated to eating. If you're not serious about your fitness unless you eat with dumbbells.
Dude, if best hour of their day doesn't make it, that's our next plan. Because imagine you tell me, hey, get fit while eating.
Right.
That's a cool.
Bicep curls.
You got the Dyson, which so obviously little stuff. That's a $400 vacuum, but it's super helpful if you just want to zip stuff up. You got the original. This is for those that haven't been around for a long time. This shirt right here. That's a real signature from Coach Glassman, but this was the original shirt that was given out at level 1s, like circa 2005, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
It's highly uncomfortable. It's like, I think it's a Gildan.
It is.
It's a and it's a weird sand color.
It feels like wool.
Yeah. Now you get I think a Noble certificate for a while. You got Reebok. Also back in the day, pretty recently.
The level 2 shirts used to be navy blue.
Yeah, they used to be blue, so it was a big deal to earn that, for Fern, for myself, because now you're not just a red shirt, you're a blue shirt.
Yeah.
Which way should we go?
We can go this way. Yeah, so then we have an additional lobby out this way. There's 2 more restrooms over here.
After you, Katie.
So this lobby just kind of goes back out to the parking lot. But again, talking about culture and stuff like that, these are all of the medals and trophies from the weightlifting team. So they have multiple national championships, and they train out of here, and a really, really big weightlifting team here. So yeah, this is one of the first things you see when you come on the weightlifting side is just, if you're trying to be, a top in the industry. So Phil, Brendan, and Nicole, they're 3 of our weightlifting coaches. That's them at nationals. Phil just placed 2nd at the most recent national championships.
I think that's really cool too, how if he's talking to somebody, probably gives them a different entrance.
Right.
So it's obviously some weightlifters are oh, I don't do CrossFit, I don't want to do CrossFit. Well, because I'm in CrossFit Rife. Well, it's like a separate gym, even though it's not.
But it's really important, and we've talked a lot about this, is yes, we do 2 things here, but it's one team.
I think, of course, you need that.
And there's
but it's nice to have that slight separation.
It is separated, but what you'll find is there's no shitty feelings towards each other. Everybody gets is no, we respect what you do, and we respect what you do, and it's cool. There's a lot of ribbing that goes on there.
Well, and what's the burly dude's name? The intern.
Oh, Justin. Yeah.
Justin was talking to Katie and I yesterday, and he's actually weightlifting right now, but he's still going through your intern process. So
yeah, because he was ramping up for a competition, so he came off of the training and was just CrossFit and was just training for CrossFit.
Before you show us this sauna room, I didn't even notice this yesterday, but you have a whole nother conference room.
Yep.
So probably have some. Is this where you have some coaches meetings?
I'll do some coaches meetings or some consults in here, but this is getting ready to get an entire revamp again. So I'm going to turn this into a coach's lounge, essentially.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
What's with the wall?
This for the cryotherapy stuff.
Oh, smart. Yeah. Cool. Is this real? Oh, I thought it was Chick-fil-A pills. It looks like it's a pill bottle.
Chick-fil-A's.
What is it? Barbecue pills. I didn't realize you could get a barbecue sauce. Cool.
Little Chick-fil-A pills that taste like chicken nuggets.
I would eat them. I would eat them as long as it's not in my fasting window.
Last thing, sauna room. So people were in here yesterday.
That's where we were, Katie.
So
that's where I really embarrassed myself.
Yeah. So this room is a sauna room. That's all it's for. We'll typically have towels and everything stocked in here, and then people just kind of get in and out of the sauna throughout the day. So very comfortable with 2 people. You could fit 3 in there, but you'd probably all need to be friends in order for that to not be super
I have
weird.
the one person at home, and Roz and I fit, so yeah, you could easily get
3 people's fine. I've seen 5 people in there, and I'm like, it's getting weird.
What you call an orgy. That was not, the sauna was off.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so everybody knows the deal in here. We just got a couple rules, no birthday suits, but we do subscriptions for those. So people always ask, how do you charge for those? The same way you do for everything else. If you're going to do by the session or subscription model, so either way.
So this is the only area where you have Venmo and WheelPay.
Well, that needs to come off, right? Because we just switched over.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we're still in a transition phase where I want people they haven't downloaded the WheelPay app. I'm just pay via Venmo.
Would you say at this point the sauna has paid for itself?
Oh yeah. Yeah, easily.
So a lot of people see stuff like that. I think this one is probably
$7,000.
$7,000.
Yeah, I mean, if you have 15 to 20 people on there paying $30 a month, you can do the math. It's not going to take long.
And not to mention, it's cool for you to use, and it's a great selling point. So
Right.
it's really awesome. All right,
We also loop that into everybody's onboarding. So everybody that comes in gets a sauna session and a compression therapy session in the boots.
welcome to CrossFit. We're gonna lock you in this sauna for an hour. I mean, you're gonna lose weight here.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap up this tour.
Yeah, come on out.
I don't know. Oh, we're back. This is a maze, but
Yeah, so
back in the room.
here, hopefully you guys have gotten some ideas as the bare minimum. So just like everything else, none of this stuff is stuff that you have to do. What we want you to think about is hey, how could I take an idea and then repurpose it for my gym, whether it's storage or gym layout or the lounge or any of that stuff. This gym obviously could have a lot of improvements and it will continue to get improvements, but that's what you should always be striving for, is just continual improvement. Just make it a little bit better all the time. Because 2 years ago, none of this stuff looked like this, and 2 years from now, it won't look like this anymore. It's a constant evolution, and that's what your members appreciate. They'll grow with you. That's the culture. But they get to see the evolution and the improvements as you go through. But you got to constantly be thinking about it. You got to budget for it. You got to plan for it. This is not something that happens overnight. What you guys are looking at right now has been a 12-year evolution, and in my mind, we're only halfway. So.
I think that's important for everybody to hear from Fern as he goes through this. We don't want you to leave this video thinking poorly about yourself or your box. You don't have to have $25,000 in assault runners. Fern didn't 12 years ago either, and it's one day at a time. But if you have questions for us, feel free to hit us up. If you have questions specifically for Fern, feel free to do that. And something you said that's really important is make it work for your box. You don't need chairs on the wall, or not everything needs to, come off the floor. Make one little small improvement at a time.
That's it.
Well, Fern, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the tour of CrossFit Rife.
I'm glad you stopped in town this week. It's good to see you.
It's been great to see you.
Yeah.
We're heading out of town right now.
We should hang out soon.
So,
Yeah.